Welcome to another episode of Follow Suit. I'm excited to bring you guys season 3. This season will be presented live on the Follow Suit Podcast Network, which will also be through Roku TV. So anybody who has Roku TV on their smart TVs, on their smartphones, you'll be able to watch Follow Suit exclusively on there. And we're here at Bobby D's Gateway, the legendary Bobby D's Gateway here in Bedford, Cleveland, Ohio, my old stomping grounds. And this is my first bartending job was here at the Gateway. I was a young whippersnapper way back in the day. Whippersnapper. I'm an old man now. I'm in Charlotte. But I got two very special guests. We're going to have a good conversation. It's an important conversation for the culture. So I got my girl Kayla here, and then her lovely wife Dondra.
Dondra.
I was right.
Yes.
I knew her first, so that's what it's for.
Sorry, D. It's all right.
So I'm gonna just call you D.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I know you got some stuff going on, so you can introduce yourself a little bit, and then I'll pass it on to you, and we can go from there.
Sounds good.
What up, everybody? My name is Mike Kayla. I'm born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I am a rapper, artist, songwriter, whatever you want to call me. Just know I'm good at it. Just released an album called Varsity Fresh, and I got more stuff on the way. I'm working in the film and TV industry as well.
Nice.
Beautiful.
You rehearsed that?
I feel like I did.
I feel like she did that in the car.
Like I got a teleprompter back there.
All right. Well, I ain't gonna be as good as her. But anyway, hi everybody. My name is Dawn. I go by Classic. That's a new thing, actually. I'm trying out.
Wait, hold on.
He like, damn, you ain't tell me that.
I asked you all type of shit for your name, and you could have said Don or Classic.
I'm sorry.
Dawn Classic.
I just remembered it when she gave that great ass, grand ass intro. I'm like, okay, let me,
Spice it up.
Yeah.
Your girl Classic. I am a realtor by day, and I also just came out with a cookbook. It is called Classic Cooking. It has 3 components in it, which is cocktails, it is at-home workouts, and of course recipes. So dig into it. It'll be out in the spring, and just look out for it. It's coming soon.
Nice. Definitely great to hear that. And as you know, on every episode we promote black-owned businesses. So shout out to, we'll only be drinking the dark Ciroc. So shout out to Diddy and the Ciroc and the Brandy and all of that company. So shout out to y'all. And this hat is by yours truly. I created it. So the Nelson Fitz hat line will be coming soon. The first question I want to roll out to y'all, this is a very important thing to me, because I posted it on Facebook, and I'm just like, damn, every time I watch TV, it's like, listen, everything I say today, I do not want it to be offensive. Okay?
Oh, no, we're not easily offended.
Everything is from the purity of my heart.
Yeah.
But every time I watch TV, I'm like, damn, there's some gay shit on here. But I feel like they forcing it in every single show.
Right.
And I posted it like in the most respectful way. Like, dang, I feel like they throwing it in front of kids shows too early now. And I just wanted to get insight from people who are in a same-sex marriage and see how y'all feel about that. Like, do you feel like it's a certain age limit to where kids should be exposed to same-sex marriage? Do you think it's too early? Like, they released that Bert and Ernie is gay and they married, and I'm like, why do they need to even know the relationship status of that? So what's kind of like y'all taking? I'll start with you.
Yeah. So as far as seeing more gay content and shows, definitely so. Like, even at our age, like, we're seeing it in the shows that we watch. Like, you always see a gay couple, or that's the big reveal that somebody is secretly gay. So I feel like, yes, we are definitely seeing it more, and I will be honest, sometimes it feels unnecessary. Like, okay, this is a show about shoes. It's, it feels like irrelevant, or that it's forced in. However, I do think with, as far as like kids and cartoons, I think some type of maybe exposure so that it's not normalized, but so a kid becomes aware of it. However, I'm all about boundaries, and I'm all about doing things the appropriate way. So I don't find it necessary to have a gay episode and you seeing, or gay characters and you seeing them kiss, and it becomes too explicit of a conversation and it's too impressionable. Now, if it's just like, oh, you kind of subconsciously peep and you see that it's 2 dads on an episode or something like that, and it's kind of introducing it in a way where it's more subtle, I feel like that's appropriate. And then just like as a kid, you just don't want to throw that boom in their face. But I think kind of doing it in a way that's more subtle and gradually, I can see that being helpful.
So that's deep, because like with me, I never look at it from that standpoint. I look at it like, dang, I don't I don't need to see this every time. And,
Right.
And it's not to be insensitive, because like you said, I think it do needs to be awareness to it. Like people do, it's a common thing now, so
Yeah.
people do need to see it. But I don't feel like a children's show. That's just my. I don't want to have to tell my son like, hey, you shouldn't watch that. But
Right.
somebody on Facebook said that, well, what about they in the same sex marriage? And they was like, what about me and my wife? We have a kid. Are they supposed to grow up and not
Yeah, have
see
that
something similar?
representation.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
I think it's a really great question. So I'm kind of in the middle here. Like I feel like I'm understanding, I think, from both sides of the spectrum, because it is, I think, is a huge push on kids, especially like my nieces and nephews who are in school. Like they've had some similar situations where I'm like, this isn't the best this isn't the best idea for them. And I don't understand why it is so like forced, because at times I do feel like it's forced. But I think too, and it's funny because me and Kayla kind of talked about this prior to getting here, because we thought it was a really, really great topic. Yeah, no, for sure. But I do also think that it's up to the parents to kind of, like, that shouldn't be robbed of them. You know what I'm saying? Like that idea of forcing it and putting it inside of different entertainments, whether that's TV, radio, whatever that is. And I get having like representation, and I'm all for it. But as kids, I just feel like, why are we even talking about that?
Yeah.
Even if it's heterosexual relationship.
Exactly.
Why is this even a conversation?
And that's what I was saying, because I don't feel like the kid even has to really know that, like, the parents are dating. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously they can see it's a mom and a dad.
Right.
But like them shows don't kiss, for kid shows. So that's like, that shouldn't even really be a thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't want it. I mean, I agree with you. Like, whether it was heterosexual, homosexual, like, it's
Kids
too much.
should,
Right.
their innocence shouldn't
Keep
be
them
thrown.
innocent.
Yeah, it shouldn't be jeopardized. So here was my proposal that I made internally. But since you were a content creator, you a creator.
Yeah.
This is what I think. Y'all tell me what y'all think. I feel like we got black-owned TV networks. We got this TV network. Shouldn't they have a station for the LGBT?
They probably do. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if
but it
one
should be
already
like,
exists. Yeah.
I haven't heard it like popular. Promoted. Like, shouldn't they have a I mean, I don't want to say it shouldn't be in no show, but for shows that are showing it from the ground up, like if they want to have a cartoon that displays same sex, like if they want to have Arthur and Arthur have a boyfriend, they should have a network exclusive for. Hey, if you want your kid to see
Arthur
this,
having a boyfriend,
just stuff like that for a kid in that situation to grow up and see it. But other kids don't have to be spoon-fed it out the womb.
So, like I said, I do agree with the whole just kind of introducing it gradually, or that was my theory, just not forcing it on them, but still showing them, so that if they do encounter a same-sex marriage or a couple, they see them on the street, it's not like a surprise.
Yeah.
So even though we have like our black networks, you got BET and you got these strong black shows, but you are going to see a little bit of diversity. You're going to have that white character or character of this different descent. So I feel like if we totally exclude people of the gay community, and then when our kids see somebody that's gay or they have a gay family member, it's like, what the fuck is this? Like,
I can agree with that too, because I think that it's a great alternative, but I don't think it should be the solely answer. That's not the one-off answer. You know what I'm saying?
So I want that to be cleared up. So thank you for saying that, because I don't think it should be excluded. Like you said, I think the shows that just got it on the show where it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, we need to have that in there because we need to see that.
Sure.
But I'm saying for stuff for little kids, where they seeing it for little kids, I feel like that should be a certain lane where you can choose if you want your kid to see that or not.
Absolutely.
Type of content.
Yeah,
but what if your kid don't know? Like, okay, for me, for instance, like, my first attraction is to females. Like, it wasn't no.
Since you were a kid.
Since I was a kid.
So that was a good question I got. So I want to let's go.
Yeah. So my earliest attraction, like,
how old
I remember maybe about 3 or 4 when you first realize you have like little crushes and stuff. My first crush was a girl named Tasha in my preschool, and I knew.
Oh, you dropping names?
I remember her. Like, Tasha was my little boo in my head. Like, she was the prettiest girl in the whole preschool. I wanted to share my blocks with Tasha. Like,
shout out to Tasha.
Tasha, wherever you at.
Right. I could tell you nothing else after that but I just knew in preschool, oh my gosh, Tasha is just, she's so cute. But I also knew that it was bad or that it wasn't right.
But it's not bad though.
But let me tell you how I felt, like, because I didn't have nobody that was like, okay, this is what you like, or kind of just help me understand why I was having these feelings, so I didn't tell a soul. So you can imagine me like 4 or 5 years old, now I'm in kindergarten, and it's like I'm just struggling in a sense with my identity, or I'm just faking it till I make it. In elementary school, yeah, he's so cute, but really I'm like, fuck him. You know?
Well, my question to you then, Kayla, is so where do you find that answer? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it something? Is it? Are you finding it from an
TV.
adult, a parent, or are you finding that from
I would have
TV?
preferred to
You know
find
what I'm
it
saying?
at home. I'm gonna be honest. I would have preferred for it to have been a conversation with my parents or something like that. But it just wasn't discussed in our household. Like,
So that's why
it's
this
like
is-
kind of taboo in a sense.
Yeah, so that's why this is important, because my thoughts on that was completely different. So now what you, because I wasn't disagreeing with
Yeah.
that it should be, but I'm just a straight person through and through, and I was
Right.
raised by straight people. Now I know gay people, and I got gay family members, but like in my eyes, I want to protect my kid from that, unless
Yeah.
my kids someday want to be that way, then they can have that conversation. But I didn't know.
You didn't want to subject them
Yeah,
to it.
Yeah.
Like,
right. So, so how was it like mentally? Because mental health is a big thing. That's like the
Right.
main point of my show, is to have people who have common topics and common issues to have a platform we can all talk about
talk
it.
about mental health. Ooh.
So how was
Yeah.
it for you mentally trying to come out, or being prepared to come out and open up? Like, what age did you come out? How hard was it for you to muster up the courage and say, like, hey, how did you drop the bomb? Hey, I'm gay. Like, how was it?
So I didn't come out officially until I was 19, but I
Wow.
have plenty of family members and friends who was like,
You can
hey,
tell,
we always knew. Like, even though you would carry yourself in between, and even though you had your boyfriends here and there, but we can just tell what you was and what you wasn't into. So, but actually, so mental health within the gay community, I feel like is so important, because you do have those identity issues, and if I'm not mistaken, I think statistically you do see people of the gay community that are more bullied and
for
have
sure.
more suicide rates or whatnot. But with me, I actually got outed by somebody I trusted, so
Really?
it was like soon as they felt like we were growing apart, I'm about to tell everybody you gay. So that's how my story, and I was preparing myself to have that talk with my mom and with my family, but this person actually forced me into it. And so that led me into like this state of depression for about 6 months. And at the time, me and Dondra just started dating, and I remember feeling bad because, here we just first started dating. I'm her first lesbian relationship, so I'm like, now she thinking I'm this, psycho crazy, but she was there for me for the whole time. But it really hurt my feelings. Like, damn, it's somebody that I trust with my secrets, and you done went on Facebook and told
like that.
Oh, it was like that. Like,
It was
God
worse than
created
that.
Adam
Yeah.
and Eve, not
So-
Adam and Steve.
It was
type
everybody
shit.
that she could like get
Find
to
her
listen.
hands on. Guess what? And
But-
it was for no reason. It was only because we start getting distant, and it was just like out of that. So it fucked me up. And then when I finally was like, look, even though I hated the way I had to come out, ultimately this is me. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna embrace it. I'ma find my lane, and I'ma do me. So once I found that peace, and I just became okay with myself, it really helped me after that.
So that's a major thing, because like for me, that's nobody's secret to tell. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it is big, because I got relatives, or I got friends who, like, we know, like, 'cause you a
can
guy,
tell,
so it's
yeah,
like we
yeah.
into this stuff, but you kind of doing this, which is fine, because I love you no matter what. So
Right.
like, I just wanted to make sure that, like, as time started going on, that they can know that they can feel comfortable enough to say, like,
I
hey.
respect that about you.
Man, but it's a real, 'cause at the end of the day, I care about you.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't
right.
care what you, and I'm not just saying this for the show. I'm being sick. 'Cause I
Yeah.
got a close person to me who was like that, and I knew my whole life, but I'm not gonna say that until they come to me.
Until they
Yeah.
bring.
And then when he did, it was like, hey, we still kicking
good.
it. Like,
We
he's
still
my
good.
bro. Like,
Man, that's like so refreshing. I will say, more of the guys within our like group of friends, I feel like became more accepting because of me and Dondra, but you don't always hear positive stories
no,
like that. Like,
yeah.
you hear the ones that's like, hell no, my brother gay, fuck that nigga, I ain't kicking it with him.
I've seen the other side of
Yeah.
that. Some people
Yeah.
who were tight like that, and they don't
Yeah.
talk
and they
about it.
just,
Yeah.
So how was it for you when you were going through that transition? Did you have that same early on, or
That
did you
is-
date and have like, oh man, fucked me over, so now I'm
You know what? It's so funny because I love telling this story. I actually, Michaela, she was my first. Innately, I am attracted to men, but Michaela is something about her. It's just not, that she's a woman. So yes, she's my first lesbian, my first and only lesbian relationship. But it's more so me and her had a deeper connection.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't know. I didn't have to go through that, and I actually was more excited about like yelling it to the mountaintop. I'm like, I'm with this girl, just because how she made me feel. You know what I'm saying? Like I was happy, and my household, because we always had open table discussions, so I could talk to my mom. Hey, I'm feeling this way, or girl, I didn't had a idea that I wanted to kiss a girl. How do you feel about like my mom was super open, like we had conversations like that. So I wasn't like hesitant or nervous or scared. More so, I was just there to protect Kayla. So I'm glad I didn't have to go through that, but I can, just being a witness to Kayla, I can see how it really can mess with somebody's mental. And I really want to talk about what is the idea, because me and Kayla talk about this all the time. Why is it such a big deal that we have this thing of coming out? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is that made so, like, why is that so, important, especially in, like, the gay community? These straight people don't come out. You are just...
You're just straight, yeah.
So why do we put so much emphasis on it?
That's a good question, and I never thought about that. Like, I guess from my perspective, I don't want to say something insensitive to you unknowingly. Mm-hmm. So if I look at you, you don't look like a gay woman. Yeah. You just look like a woman. You know what I mean? So I would never know unless you say it. And then I might say something, just a natural conversation that might be because I'm ignorant to the fact of like, okay, gay people feel this way about these comments, or that's a sensitive topic, and I don't want to say it unknowingly. So that's for me. But you don't have to. Like, you can kind of pick up on the vibe. Nobody has to. That's, like I said, that's your truth to tell. So for me, it was never a big thing if somebody came out and told me. But it's important for me to at least know, so that in that way, I know to be more sensitive about this stuff. Or like if I'm out and somebody is that way, and I'm trying to introduce them to somebody,
you want to use the right terms, or
or like I'm saying, like if a friend of mine, if he was gay and I'm trying to hook him up with girls, I don't want to be ignorant to the fact that they are gay, or or if you liked girls and I'm trying to introduce you to one of my boys, he like, dude, I don't even fuck with.
It must be.
He don't even pay attention.
He got a sister,
right? Yeah. But so reasons like that is why I feel like from our spectrum, it's important to know.
Okay.
So, but you don't
I
have
respect
to,
that. Yeah.
With me, like I never. Even when I have boyfriends, you see them around, it is what it is. But I did want to at least give my parents and my siblings that, even though I know that, like when I finally told my mama, she was like, Kayla, I knew your whole life, But in hindsight, when I look back on it, I wish that she would have told me she knew, or I wish and at one point she kind of did, and I denied it, and it was because I was just scared.
Yeah, of
you
course,
know
you
what
had
I
to
mean?
be scared, yeah.
So, but I can see that. I could definitely see that, especially if it's like from an appropriate standpoint. Like I just want to be respectful of you.
Yeah, like I said, man, I was raised at, my grandfather's a pastor. I don't know how many people know that about me, but I was raised in that type of environment where you just treat people with love, so you don't want to be no matter how they are and who they are. So that's how it is.
Yeah, and I think that even goes back to the whole conversation on like talking to kids about it. I definitely agree, not boom, let's just throw this in their face, but just conversations on, hey, no bullying in this household, or if you happen to see this out, this person love this person, and even though you got a mommy and daddy in this relationship, you might see a couple, just to kind of not necessarily pep talk them, but just to get them prepared for what they could see in the world, because it's way more gay people. It's more people that's finally living their best life, their true life, and you seeing it more often. So why not take that step to do your part at home? Not saying you,
but
in general, like us as parents, because even when we have children, it's not gonna be it's just you about to be raised. And
so that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Because, like, how do y'all feel like wanting to have children? Are you going to raise them to be that way? Like, hey, this is how me and mommy is, so.
Nah, I think, do people raise their kids
to be gay? I don't know. Maybe they do.
I see some girls who are single moms on social media, and they just like. Cool.
I did see this video with a little boy on the pole and all that, but he looked kind of just feminine in general.
But I'm saying they like a lot of times. Could it have
been taught too?
That's what I'm saying.
Like, Nayo, you can walk in mommy's heels. I mean, when you know you gay, I guess. Like, but I don't plan to raise my child
Right.
like how you describe some of the women in those social media videos where it's like, hey, do this. I'm more so, okay, so you know how that big debate on Facebook started when it was a little boy with the cooking set?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was okay. It just looked like a fun
It's
kids
okay. My son
cooking
got,
set.
My son got a cooking set.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
The
men
man got to cook.
I
Right,
can
like,
see,
you got-
I can see
yeah.
myself raising my child the same way. Like, I'm not just gonna buy my son all hammers and race cars.
Nah.
Like, he can have those too, but if you want a little cooking set,
It's whatever
cool, let him have a little cooking
whatever
set.
that person is into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever that little human being is into. And me and Kayla, we've had this conversation too. Like, I don't know that I couldn't say our parenting styles per se, but what I can say is we both are religious people. We both are spiritual, and we are both built off of morals and our own beliefs. And so I think that is gonna guide our parenting skills.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be who you're into, because again, that conversation shouldn't even really be such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Until we feel it's of age. You know what I'm saying? But
Just gonna love on you regardless.
Yeah.
And that was the number
Yeah.
one thing I learned about being a parent is like you can't force certain things. Like you just gotta kind of let it be. And if you
Right.
if you a good person and you show them good activity and good behavior, then they gonna grow up and be a good person.
Exactly.
Like with my son, one thing I learned about him, or he's 5, and like if he don't want to do it, he not gonna
He's
do that.
not
shit.
gonna do it,
Like my
yeah.
son, he's very like I'm like, all right. He said, "Daddy, let's go out, let's play basketball."
Right.
Cool. I'm like, hey, shoot it like this, dribble it like this. And if I try and tell him too many times, he's like, I don't want to do it
Yeah,
no more.
he like.
But if I just let him do it and I walk away, he do everything I was telling
you
him to
been
do.
told him.
But he just
Right.
want to do it on his own
on
terms.
his
So-
own time.
So now I learned, I'm like, okay, you just gotta just let these kids be, and they have mold into their own.
for sure.
Right,
person.
and then you instilling that good stuff. And I mean, me and Dondra, like I had stated earlier, we're real big on just being appropriate. We're real big on boundaries. Like our wedding, for instance, we threw this huge wedding, rooftop wedding, and initially.
They ain't calling me.
We didn't know him at the time.
Look,
Sorry.
at the vow renewal, it's going down.
Right.
We're gonna have the Ciroc in the building,
Hey.
black on. But like at our wedding, at first it was like. Dondra was like, well, let's just do no kids, just more so to save money. But I was like, no, like our family unit, like I have a real big family in the city,
Same.
and our family is real close. And I was like, well, I want kids to be there, but I want it to be appropriate. I don't want them to feel subjected to seeing us kiss or whatnot. So what we did was actually spent a couple extra $1,000 and rented
decided to put
the floor before
You spent what?
Yeah, it was like $3,500
Yeah,
just to get that
yeah.
extra space.
My wife and her grand idea.
I know. When I look back on it, I should have said, "Fuck them kids."
What
Get
them
their ass
kids?
at home. 'Cause shit, that shit added up. But what we did, we like during the ceremony, they had their own. They had clowns down there. We had some like
Oh, but that's
gaming
dope, though.
systems.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't see.
They have their own
and then for the
little floor,
parents that was comfortable, it was like, no, I've had a talk with my kid. They understand we're gay married. We don't mind bringing them up, but we had that as an option.
That's what's
just
up.
for the people that just don't want their children seeing that young. And then after the ceremony was over, when the reception was about to start, after the whole garter and bouquet toss, bring the kids
Yeah,
up, and
come
they
dance,
actually got
yeah.
the party started. And then after that, we just had fun the rest of the night. But rewind, a funny story that happened about how somebody didn't necessarily have talks on like gay marriages or just, hey son, this is gay relationships. We have a family member, and I think he was like turning 9 or something at the time. He didn't understand Auntie Kayla and Auntie Dondra
Were
were
together.
marrying each other.
I thought y'all was sisters.
Yeah.
So he was like, so
Best
who getting
friends,
married at the
yeah.
wedding? And it was like, Auntie Kayla, Auntie Dondra. He like, I know,
know, but who they
they marrying? Who they marrying to? And so she gave us a call. She was like, okay, I think it's time to talk to, y'all nephew or whatnot. So when we had this very delicate talk with him, like, well, when two people love, and it was, when I say it was very age appropriate.
I don't think
and
we
I
could've
broke
done
it
any
down,
better.
He
How
was
old was he?
9.
Oh,
Yeah,
9.
he's like 9 going on
Whew.
10. I think he turned 10 in June, and our wedding was in July. So,
Okay.
but I think he was 9 at the time. But when we explained it to him as delicate as he could, he was sitting there. He was like, I ain't gonna lie, that shit was funny as fuck. So I'm trying to laugh on camera and shit. But I was like, is this your first time having these talks with him? And she was like, yeah, we don't talk about stuff like that. And I was like, okay, I can, I'm not here to judge. Every parenting style is different. If, what happens in your household is your household. But you know, I hate that this was his first experience with hearing the different type of, you know, relationships that go on. So, I don't know.
Like you said, it
It
goes
helped
back
out.
to,
He was at the wedding turned up after that, and now he love us. He spend the night all the time, and you know we have a beautiful dynamic. But that first comment,
That's not, man, that stuff nerve-wracking to have those type of like,
conversation.
I was nervous as hell.
It's extremely it gets you really nervous. But I think going back to what we said before, you know, it starts with like the parents at home having that kind of conversation, knowing when it is
delicate.
Yeah, you know, because you don't want like that's a culture shock for. I don't want the kids to be like, like I mean, and maybe that's
But those
okay.
were his sentiments.
I mean, that's the
Yeah,
kid.
maybe that's
what he
okay
felt.
too,
Yeah.
right?
It's like the
But I guess I don't know. I would have preferred them to be a little bit more.
You know how you might have a talk with a kid, like if you see somebody handicapped, don't stare.
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
And they just stare the
around
whole
that
time.
That's
you know,
funny because
kinda.
me and my son, like, I take him to stuff. So, like,
Okay.
he's a wrestling fan. So, when WWE comes to Charlotte or Cleveland, we going.
Okay.
Basketball games, we going.
Yeah.
So, we go down there and he'll see, like, homeless people. He's like, Daddy, why he laying there?
Right.
And I'm like, son, everybody not as blessed as
As-
us.
right.
You know, he might not have had a dad to take him to a basketball game. You don't know. So I always make it a point to, because I get in my own way sometimes too. Like sometimes I'll be getting off the highway and there'll be a homeless person there, and I'm like, I kind of just keep going sometimes. But then there's other times where I do try to give money.
Yeah.
But
Right.
in front of my son, he always makes it like
Yeah.
he asked the questions, which kind of make me
They so
open up
curious,
and
ain't
so I'm
they?
like, son, here, give him some money
Right.
and be polite to them because they people like you, but everybody
Yeah.
not blessed like us. That's why we
Yeah,
pray every night
exactly.
and all of that stuff. So he gets it now because I'm like, champ, you want to make sure you pray every night. You don't want to be having nowhere to sleep. Like that guy at the basketball game.
It's like, yeah.
just like them.
Technically, yes, sir.
Yeah, nigga, so
Because
you
they
know.
are sponges, man,
Yeah,
and they're
for
so impressionable and just delicate. So, like, I'm all about and if it is introduced, just boundaries. But in our household, like, definitely a household of love. And when
Yeah.
God blesses us, you know, it's gonna be a raw
gonna
little
come. I
deal.
can't wait to
you
see
know
it.
what I mean?
Me either.
Exactly.
Do you think so? Do you think it's a certain age? So now you said you were 4 or 5, or maybe younger
When
when
I
you
first-
when you
yeah,
first
that
felt that
attraction.
feeling, and you found out later. But like, do you think there's a certain age where you wouldn't let them to decide to be that way? Like Dwayne Wade's son, for
yeah,
instance.
yeah.
Like his son
Ooh.
was like 11, and they like all in on it. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on now.
Yeah.
Like you said, admittedly, you didn't even know you had these feelings until you got older. So.
For sure.
Like you might have like, oh, I like guys. Oh, I'm a marry a man. I'm a marry a man. Then
For sure.
a woman just, it wasn't the fact that it was a woman, but like the connection is what swept you off.
Absolutely.
But he all in on his son being gay, which is fine. I can imagine him, who is a manly man and an athletic man, like not knowing what to do and just trying to show his kid the best way.
Yeah, love, support.
Yeah, so that and I try to be sensitive to that. Like he just
Right.
doing whatever he can to show him support,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
that's extreme as hell.
Yeah.
And like, how do y'all feel like that? Because I don't want to be ignorant to the
to the topic.
Like, how do y'all feel about and I'll start with you. How do you feel
Yeah.
about the age of it? You know, like, hey, is 11 too young? I feel like a teenager. You know, I think that's, in my opinion, that's okay. You going through these emotions, you kind of understand. That's a good time to start. Okay, I want to be this way.
Yeah.
But 11 is.
I think sometimes it's kind of hard to put a number on things, and because I'm just thinking about me myself. Like even growing up, I was very. Michaela can attest to this too. Very mature for my age, but in the circumstances of sexuality and going full throttle as far as embracing something that you identify with or you think that you identify with, for me that's just a little bit too extreme. Like I kind of agree with that. Like I just feel like there's a way to support without full-fledged buying heels, makeup, shoes, you know.
Dresses, all of that,
yeah,
yeah.
I think that it has to be a time where I think a teenager will kind of be that age where I would, you know, kind of allow my child to step out and start experimenting. But as young as like 8, 9, 10, I think that's a bit early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
So, I disagree a little bit because I feel like, you know, when we're young, we kind of know our. Okay, now the whole sex change, I do feel like that should be age appropriate.
Yeah.
So, like, if I know I forgot her name, but
Zaya.
Zaya, but it's also a young lady. She goes by Jazz, and I think she was born male because she got the book and even a show out, like I Am Jazz. And, you know, it was a lot of controversy on that because I think she had a sex change at a very young age. Now, I do feel like, okay, let's let puberty sit in. Let's make sure that you understand these emotions. But as far as expressing themselves and what they wear, I wouldn't let my 10-year-old daughter wear heels and makeup. So I won't let my, you know, my 10-year-old son was identifying as gay, I wouldn't let him wear heels and makeup either. But what I won't do is, like, if I had a daughter that I'm seeing had those lesbian traits and stuff, and tendencies, I'm not gonna force a dress on her all the time. Like, I remember I went to church every single Sunday. I had to wear stockings, a dress, a slip, pigtails, and by the time I'm like 9, I'm like, I hated it. I hated church. I was mad at my mama. I wanted to stay in the back. I used to just put on a coat with a hood and purposely mess up my curls because I didn't like that. So I do love Dwayne Wade for supporting his son, and I like that Gabby is there like, okay, express yourself. We want you to be, you know, comfortable in what you're wearing and what you're doing. But I also think it's age-appropriate limits.
Yeah, for sure.
So like with me, I wish that I didn't have to wear that skirt to church and that dress to church with 2 pigtails every Sunday since I was like a kid. I do wish my mom would have listened when I told her, well, can I just wear dress pants? I can still dress up, but can I just wear dress pants? And she, no, you don't wear pants and skirt, or, you know, and at my banquets.
What if your son said that?
Now,
okay, I want to wear a dress.
If he was age appropriate,
or
then I would
at the same age that you were when you felt like
and let me also throw in this. I'm so protective over like children, so I would have that talk with them like, look, this is the attention that you're going to receive if you decide to wear this dress. Here's the pros and cons that come with it. Mommy wants you to be comfortable, but how about instead of a dress, and maybe I'll introduce some other type of option that makes him feel comfortable, and we can come up with a healthy compromise. Just because I don't want my child, like if I do have a gay son and he wants to, you know, do it up with hair extensions and stuff and makeup and nails at 10 years old, I would be afraid of just how society would see him.
Yeah, because if you want, especially for a boy, a girl, you got more room to do that. But with a boy,
especially for a boy,
you do that shit, there's no coming back.
It's no coming back.
It's like
it's no coming back.
When you're a teen, you're like, hey, I remember that time.
Yeah.
Never gonna let that go. So you got to be very cautious.
And make sure, like,
you got to be very cautious with that. So with D Wade, you know, I'm glad he embracing his kid, but it's just like you gotta make sure your kid want to be that way. And I don't
know. She seemed like she.
Oh yeah, no, that kid is the way they are. Yeah.
Because I remember Magic Johnson. I was reading an article like he finally asked his son when he was like late in his teen age. It's like, EJ, you gay? Yeah. You know, but he was like, I always knew. Like
Magic always knew.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Magic always knew. He was like, I did. I knew. I could tell, you know. He's like, but I didn't want to ask him, and a part of me didn't want to believe it, you know, in a sense. But he was like, but I finally was just like, EJ, you know, you gay? Like, what's going on? He's like, he is. He is. But I think once he had that talk and he came out to his parents, I can't say I necessarily followed his journey, but when he did come on the scene, I was like, oh, this is a vibrant gay man, you know.
But that stuff is, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, when you have those tough conversations, no matter what it's about, whether it's like stuff like that, I never obviously had to have that conversation with nobody. Hopefully I never have to. But like when you have tough conversations in general, it always like makes it a more refreshing relationship. So like for instance, if me and my wife have a tough conversation, it was like, I don't want to have to talk about this tonight. But when we do it,
doesn't it feel so good?
You feel good afterwards.
You get it out the way, like that wasn't bad, you know. Or even if it was little parts in it that was uncomfortable.
So how is it for y'all in a same-sex marriage? What is the arguments like in a same-sex marriage? Because it's like, you know, with me, okay, it's her time of the month, so she might be a little sensitive this month, or if I got to be tiptoeing around, emotional and stuff like that. And then she know I got certain ways, but it's like with y'all, do y'all go through the same emotions because y'all the same sex? Like, what is that like?
I think for the most part, in a sense, because shit, when we have our arguments over finances, like, baby, come on now, you spent a little bit too much on them purses and all that shit, you know. We have arguments over that.
Okay, so I don't know. My personal opinion is because I've been with both sexes, I don't really see that much of a big difference when it comes to arguments, you know what I'm saying, with same sex.
Really?
No, because you still talk about finances.
Like as far as
You still-
topics, the topics are the same.
Pretty much. I
Okay.
mean, finances, you know, paying bills on time. Well, that's kind of finances.
That's
Being
communicating.
respectful,
Yeah.
you know, communicating what you're going to wear, what don't I prefer. That's it. Michaela is very, she's a leader. She leads a lot. I would say 100% of the time. but I'm in a healthy way, right? But it's still very, it reminds me a lot of, you know, in being with a guy.
I got you.
So our arguments aren't too much different. Now, of course, you'll have specific arguments that a woman and a man just won't have. But ideally, over like grand scheme of things, I feel like it's pretty much the same.
Though I've never been in an adult high school. I was with a guy. That was like my last relationship with a male. But
Them don't count. We talking about
exactly. But as adult, only with females. But I think when I watch like my brothers and sisters and their marriages or our friends in their relationships, I do agree. I think overall it's generally the same. But even though I'm more of the aggressive one in a relationship, you know, some people, oh, you masculine, she feminine. We don't really do those titles.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
even though I'm more of the aggressive one, but I still have those moments where I'm like, I'm still a female, and no, like I'm feeling sensitive today, or like,
I feel like men can feel sensitive too.
Well, yeah, but it's a certain way though. Like, we
like
can't
they not gonna, I feel like, express it as much.
express what though? It depends what it is. Cause I tell my wife like, hey man, that shit ain't cool.
Oh yeah,
But-
I'll tell her that in a
Okay,
heartbeat.
so
But
if your stomach hurt, your head hurt,
men be the biggest babies.
come on.
Come on, man. That's because we healthy all the time.
Oh, all right, yeah.
I don't-
okay.
I don't
Come over
get-
here and take
I
care
don't
of me,
get-
baby.
I don't get monthly cramps.
Be crying.
Yeah.
So
So that
I don't-
is a difference. Like when we
Yes.
be, and we find out TMI, but we finally synced back up because we were synced, you know, with the whole, yeah. But we was off. Like she'd have her
Yeah, so
week,
like,
and like
yeah,
a week
so
later,
1
now
week-
it's me, you know, and she'd be having a, you know, cater to my emotions that week, or if I'm extra just
I don't know.
sensitive.
I still feel like it's not too
But I'm
big.
saying that's
I
back to
think
back
those are the little
weeks.
things.
yeah, that's back to back
That's
weeks.
back to back weeks of it. You know
Man.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
You should have seen us this past month. Where I was like, this is the first time we done synced back up in like 4 years.
I can't believe we really talking about this right now, but all right.
Oh,
Let
that's
you
what we
finish.
talking
The
about.
household was so funny because she like, you need some Midol? I'm like, do you need some Midol?
So
I
is
want
it-
the
is
heating
it-
pad. No, I want the heating pad.
So
Now
is
we
it
got
just
two heat
is it just both of y'all pissed off all week, or is it just
No.
like I get where you at, so I'm gonna just go this way for the week? How's that? Like,
Yeah, I think it's more
we
so
do that.
secondary. Yeah, like and it's not, luckily, by the grace of God, we aren't really like bitchy when it comes to, you know, that
I
type
got
of
We
you.
just
stuff.
more so being paid.
Yeah,
but we
yeah,
ain't the
I'm saying.
ones
So
that
we
be
can
super bitchy.
tolerate each other. It's just like, yeah, I need help.
Yeah, because my wife would be just annoyed.
Yeah.
Oh, irritated.
Yeah, she'd be
Yeah,
irritated. Like,
for sure,
look,
for
bro,
sure.
just go ahead and get the kids.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
And I think I do have that advantage because I know what she's going through when it is that time of the month.
That's
everything.
that's what I was trying to get to. Because
Yes,
like with me,
yes.
it's like, dude, I don't know how you feel.
What the
like,
fuck you want me to do? Here's a
Yeah.
piece of
I don't
chocolate.
know. Yeah, I don't know the pre-period pain and the post-period pain. Like,
Right.
what
And
is
them titties
this?
hurt.
Yeah, right. I can't grab it. It's like, come on now.
Right.
No.
Feeling nasty, like, no, I'm
Yeah.
bloated.
All right, just
exactly.
let me know when I can touch you. all right?
Right. My bad.
Yeah, but that's that's good stuff because it's just we don't know. We don't
Yeah.
go
Right.
through the same stuff y'all go through.
For sure.
We gonna get wrapping up pretty soon, but what's some questions y'all got for me? Like I appreciate. Oh, real quick, her name is Michaela, so it's not because it sounds like every time you're saying it, it's like no, that's my Kayla.
You know, it's so funny
That's my
because
Michaela.
a couple people told me that, like, okay, you ain't got to be suppositive. I said, no, it's really M-I-C-H, Michaela. That's her name.
Yeah.
So it's funny. I get that all the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's her name.
But what's
But
some
I'm still
questions?
yours.
Hey now. Hey now.
Do y'all get jealous of like if a guy was talking to her or like?
Hell no.
We so past that. I'm gonna be
We've been
so,
together 13
yeah,
years.
Yeah.
Like we be married 6 years in July. Like
Right.
maybe in the beginning I had my insecurities because it's like, damn, okay, I know she
Yeah,
messed
yeah.
with dudes like her whole life. So I'm like, she gonna go back to them, or you know, I used to feel like, dang, she gonna fall in love with a nigga at the bar or some shit. But once I got over that little kid
Yeah.
shit, and it took for her to be like, look, I ain't with the chick. If I fuck with you, I fuck with
I
you.
got you.
Like, and we
Loyalty
talk-
is loyalty.
And
There
it
you
is,
go.
Yeah.
it is, and
Yeah.
we've always stood on that principle, and we just communicate so well. But it's funny because we just met a new cousin of hers her family, and she asked me that because we was at the bar, we was kicking it, and Dondra had to go to the restroom. And on the way there, like I asked her, did she want me to go with her? She's like, no, it's just one stop. Plus, I'm in and out. I'm like, okay, bet. I make sure you cool. And on the way there, when I say every motherfucker was grabbing her, hey, and she was like, what do you do when she get all this attention? Because she got this body, and she, you know, she's nice and pretty, and like I was like, she's beautiful. I expect her to get the attention.
Right,
it would become an issue if I was insecure as hell, and you know, and I'm like, baby, don't look cute today. I don't want you to have
I think
attention.
we both, to add on to, I think we both find like a common ground, because even Michaela, you know, she's just as beautiful, and she'll get attention from guys at the bar, and I'm gonna just make sure when he buy me one too.
I mean, just
Hey, look,
Like,
somebody,
make that legal.
somebody tried to buy my wife a drink one time. I was like, go, why you ain't get that?
Yeah, she be like, that's less I gotta pay for. You
Right,
better get
right,
that
right.
As long
drink.
as he know, but I appreciate,
Now,
I appreciate
yeah.
you respecting me.
For
Exactly.
sure.
But tell that nigga I said thank you.
Yep,
You
not
got
for
the
real.
ring on your
And
finger, and we know how to, because it do be
Kayla
some
will step
weirdos.
in if she feel like she would
he
definitely,
be, you know,
or
they
I
being
shut it
weird.
down.
But
Yeah.
yeah, she can have her, like if we sitting at the bar and she happen to spark up a conversation with the guy next to her, I'm not about to be
You chilling.
what y'all talking
Yeah,
about
yeah,
over
yeah.
here. No, it's like an innocent conversation. And plus we, as you see, we talkative as fuck, and we
Yeah.
cool. Like we
Yeah.
just, we cool with everybody. So I'm not about to be that type. But now, if he gets disrespectful,
Well, yeah, that's
or if I see,
different.
oh,
Yeah.
then without
That's
a
different.
doubt, like,
Yeah.
no, hold on, bro. Now she married. I'm right here, big dog. I'm
Yeah.
right, and then.
You ever had to square with a nigga? No, just
No, I didn't. But one time, Dondra was walking past, kind of how the story I was telling. We was
Oh
going to the
my
bathroom,
God.
but this time I was going with her because we was at a big, remember bank that used to be open.
Oh,
the one
yeah,
that-
yeah,
we
yeah,
was at
yeah,
bank.
downtown.
And we walking through, and this is where the creepers come in. Like I hate when dudes do this. You don't have to touch me. Don't.
Oh, they gonna
you,
do it.
And what he was
Excuse
doing
me,
when
I'm
she was
like
walking
the-
past.
yeah, all of the
Yeah,
grabbing,
like
all of
he
that.
was trying to put like his hand like on her butt to make, oh, here you
The
go.
small
Mom.
little
The
bag.
small
Yeah,
little-
yeah.
But like, and so I
That
grabbed
creepy
his hand.
shit.
I was like, you don't have to touch her. He like, what the fuck, bitch? Da-da-da. And I'm like, I'm just saying, like, this is my my
my
wife.
wife, yeah.
Like, what the? And you don't have to touch any female, whether she was my wife, best
Wow,
friend,
yeah.
sister. You don't have to touch us as we're walking by. And I said, and I saw where you were about to touch her. Like, he was able to touch the small of her back, and she was like, I thought that was you, because it was pretty low. But he was about to, you know, I saw that hand drifting. Motherfucker,
Yeah.
give me this fucking hand.
She really been a little bit more nicer, because she ain't say that.
I
That wasn't her
was-
real reaction.
I was hot.
She did a little bit more than that, but yeah, I mean, for sure. I think that it's a line that is drawn, but you know, we know how to step in.
Well, yeah, and that's a major thing. So yeah, like I was saying, do y'all have any questions
Any
for
questions
me?
for you?
Yeah. No matter what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this. So you have family members that you said that you are accepting of. Like, look, I'm gonna love you regardless.
Yeah.
Have you ever encountered a situation where you did see maybe a family member being judged or bullied or kind of talked about behind that?
No, I haven't. Thank God. Now I don't know what they deal with in their own
Life.
life, but like they so cool to everybody. It would be very, very disrespectful for somebody to treat them like that, because they could come to most people. This person may come across as just
It's straight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they might come
yeah.
across as straight, or just somebody who's just like the goofy friend that's just around. They might not think that they that way if they're not spending years and all this time around them. So that's like the number one thing. So no,
Yeah.
fortunately, I've never had to see that. Now I have heard people who I didn't really know
Yeah.
get talked about in that way, and I'm just like, that's not cool. But I'm like, it's not my place to be like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. But
you shouldn't do that.
Right,
And
yeah.
you know, but I do know I'm sensitive to the LGBT, the gay community. I think.
It's a lot of letters
Too
in
many
them
letters.
things
It's
now.
so many letters.
But there's
I
a lot
lost
of,
count a little bit myself.
Yeah.
but it's a lot of like, I always feel like the people in that community are also overly sensitive. Don't say you want to be treated. This is just me from the outside looking in. Don't say you want to be treated like a straight person would be treated, or just like everybody else. But then like, if somebody joking with, like, somebody could make jokes about me and
Yeah.
it's a joke, haha. But other people would be extra sensitive, like super
About the
and
concept.
super
Ooh, like
offended,
the
like.
Dave Chappelle stuff.
Yeah,
I
but
felt
even
so
with
bad
the-
for Dave. Like,
Yeah.
damn, like I'm gonna be honest. Slap me. I didn't find offense
Yeah.
to that
Yeah.
stand up.
Even with the LGBT, that, like, I don't know the letters, but they
Yeah,
were like,
neither do I.
I don't identify as this, or it's like, I don't know that.
Or no,
Yeah.
my
I
the
don't
new
know.
thing now is
Non-bi-
the
yeah.
pronouns.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that just got introduced to me a couple years ago. Like, you know, we got to know pronouns, and I'm like, wow, I didn't. You know, I understand. I'm learning too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say that, like, and this is as a gay female.
Yeah.
Like, I'm every day I feel like I'm learning something new when it comes to what's accepted or what's suggested, and I'm just trying to, I guess, I don't know, be receptive, but at the same time, it can get a little bit overwhelming.
So this is the point of this episode is so that we can be enlightened as a people.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
as a culture, we can
I
all
like
be
that.
enlightened.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Well, yeah, because the reason it's called follow suit
Yeah.
is because as a culture we've been dealt a bad hand, and they expect us to follow suit.
Yeah.
But we're gonna change the narrative of that.
Definitely
So,
so.
That's the little rapper in me. I dabble.
Your elevator speed
dabble.
Hey, I'm buying what you're selling, brother. No, but I do appreciate this. This is open space, us
Yeah.
conversating, and I even like how you said you posed a question on Facebook and you got these ideas. Continue to keep doing that because that helps you grow. That helps
Yeah.
you formulate conversations within your household and then with your peers, with your
Sure.
dudes, and y'all playing basketball, little shit like, oh no, but I learned.
Yeah, right. Like I want to be able to know. You know,
And
I
I'm
don't-
learning stuff like just sitting here and hearing your perspective as a straight male and being in a marriage and having kids, and this is how I'm raising them, and this is the cause and effect. This is what I'm seeing. I'm learning so much.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm glad that you got this
Well,
platform.
yeah, I appreciate y'all. You know, just being vulnerable enough to have a conversation.
For sure.
For sure, for sure.
Anything else? I got other guests outside. I need to get in. Y'all got anything else?
He
y'all
a
wanna
busy
highlight?
man. Shout out to the music that I just dropped, Varsity Fresh. It's available on all streaming services. I want you to check that out. You can follow me on everywhere at MY_Kayla, my Kayla.
Dawn, DAWN_classic with a Q. I am on a lot of my Kayla's records. I'm an artist model. Do a little fashion here, double dabble, and a little over there. She talking and shit. Right? Anyway,
I seen it though. I seen it in person. They not lying.
But yes, thank you again for having us. This
No
was
problem.
super dope, and
Yes.
invite us back.
I will.
Come on now.
Back.
We're going to spice it up next time.
Y'all gotta come to
Yeah.
Charlotte. No, but I'll be back. I'm from here, so I'll be back.
Okay,
all
or we
the
come
time.
up to Charlotte.
Yeah,
fine, yeah,
we
but-
love to travel, so.
It's a
Thank
go.
you. But yeah, I appreciate it. Once again, I am PO. This is the Follow Suit Podcast. We'll be releasing on the Follow Suit Podcast Network on all Roku streaming services. Shout out to Bobby D's Gateway. Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Shout out to Scene on the cameras. Y'all take it easy.
Peace.